Hey guys, what's up? It's iFlynn here, and welcome to episode 3 of my Warframe Beginner's Guide for 2021. Remember, if you ever get stuck in Warframe and need help, head over to twitch.tv/iFlynn and feel free to ask me any questions you've got about the game. I stream Mondays to Saturdays, link is in the description below. Like the video, subscribe, and let's get right into it. At the end of the last episode, I asked you guys to purchase and level a few weapons. If you did that, you should be able to do the Master Rank free test. The Master Rank free test is just the Master Rank 1 test, but you have to use your melee weapon, so it should be pretty easy. Once you hit Master Rank free, you're able to join what is called a Syndicate. There is a console at the top of your ship left of navigation. This is your Syndicate console. Go here, click Steel Meridian, visit the leader and initiate with them. Once you've initiated with Steel Meridian, go do the same with the Red Veil. Syndicates are factions that give unique rewards in the form of weapons, mods, and more. You have to earn standing and rank up with these syndicates before you can purchase the rewards. To earn standing to rank up with a syndicate, you need to equip their sigil to your Warframe. In our playthrough, we're going to be equipping the Steel Meridian sigil. This is going to earn us standing with both Steel Meridian and Red Veil at the same time. We need to get to the rank of Protector with Steel Meridian to get a mod for a weapon called the Hijack. The mod that we need is called Scattered Justice. To get the mod, we need to earn standing and trade items with Steel Meridian to rank up. On screen now is a list of all of the items that you need to rank up with Steel Meridian. I would start planning ahead and get some of these items if you come across them in your playthrough. I've also got on screen the items needed to rank up with Red Veil, as we're going to be able to passively rank them up at the same time. It's worth noting that some of the prime items needed to rank up with these syndicates can become vaulted, meaning DE are eventually going to change which prime item is required to rank up with these syndicates. Next, we want to complete the Europa Junction that is on Ceres. This junction requires us to complete a quest called the Archwing, defeat Vor and Kril at Exta on Ceres, survive 10 minutes or more at Draco on Ceres, and defeat a Prosecutor on Ceres. To start the Archwing quest, go to your codex, go into the quest tab, and just click the Archwing quest to start it. This quest is extremely straightforward. It's some excavation missions to get Archwing parts, which you then have to craft in your foundry so you can craft an Archwing. Once you've got your first Archwing, the quest is going to have you do an introductory Archwing mission that's going to allow you to use your Archwing for the first time. Defeating Vor and Kril at Exta on Ceres is just a repeat of the Vor boss fight that you did back on Mercury, and also a repeat of the Lech Kril boss fight that we did on Mars. The difference is that you have to fight both of these bosses at the same time. What we need to do to get there, and so that we don't struggle while fighting the bosses, is to take a look at the mods that we've got equipped to all of your equipment. On our Warframe, we want to run Vitality for health, Redirection for shields, Fast Deflection for shield recharge, and the Broken Streamline that we've got for ability efficiency. Don't worry too much about the rank of these mods for now, just make sure that you've got them equipped. However, I would rank up Redirection and Fast Deflection, as we're going to need them later on Ceres. Ability efficiency reduces the amount of energy needed to cast your abilities, so if you find yourself relying on your abilities, which honestly, you should be using your abilities either way, you should invest some into Streamline to rank it up, especially if you have a non-broken version of it, as it's pretty much a stable mod. On your melee weapon, you should be able to make a corrosive damage build, as we got a mod called Fever Strike from the last junction, so go ahead and throw that on alongside Shocking Touch and Pressure Point. Make sure to rank up and equip the stance mod called Iron Phoenix. This is going to change up the combos that you can do with your Scanna. It's also going to add more modding capacity, so you're able to fit the mods that I'm talking about onto your melee weapon. Pressure Point is going to boost your damage, then Fever Strike and Shocking Touch are going to meld together more or less to make corrosive damage. Corrosive damage is the best raw damage element in the game, so you can run it pretty much anywhere. It's really good versus armored enemies, as corrosive procs the status effects from corrosive damage reduces enemy armor. Make your way over to Exta so we can take down Vor and Kril. At the end of this mission, you're going to get a part for the Warframe called Frost. If you want, you can farm all the parts up for him, but it's not necessary. Make your way up to Draco from Exta and play this mission for 10 minutes. Hopefully, while doing all of this, you came across a Prosecutor. A Prosecutor is basically just a Grineer enemy with a big stick, but he's got a little bit of a glow around him. If you're struggling to get one to spawn, I usually find them quite consistently on the rescue mission, Nuovo. On your way to the Europa Junction, you're going to be introduced to a new game mode called Hijack on the node Ludi. This mission is going to have you stand beneath a big battery-like thing. This big battery is going to drain your shields, but as it's draining your shields, it's going to move forward. All you have to do is stand beneath and defend this battery until it gets to the end of the mission. This is why ranking up Fast Deflection and Redirection is important for Ceres. Once all the junction requirements are done, jump into the Jupiter Junction and take down Valkyr. Valkyrie has a pretty high base armor stat, so she's quite tanky, but as long as you're running corrosive damage on your melee weapon, you should be able to just spam melee attacks on her to take her down. Now that you've got access to Jupiter, you're able to obtain a resource called neural sensors. Neural sensors are what's needed to craft the neuroptics for most Warframes. Up to now, you should have accumulated enough resources to craft all of the parts for Rhino if you farmed up the blueprints from the Jackal boss fight. I'd recommend to start crafting the free parts now. These parts are going to take 12 hours to craft, then Rhino is going to take an additional 3 days in your foundry to craft before you can claim and play him. First, on Jupiter, we want to complete the requirements for the Europa Junction that are on the left of the planet. We have to complete the quest, The Stolen Dreams. Again, go to your codex, under the quest tab, find the Stolen Dreams quest, click it to play it. This is another quest that you should be able to complete without any of my help. We've then got to complete Teshub in the Void. To get to Teshub, you want to go back to Phobos, complete the mission Stickney to unlock the Void. Then Teshub is the first mission in the Void. Play that and complete it. Lastly, for the Europa Junction, we have to craft a Warframe Spectre. Head to your foundry, type Spectre into the search bar, and craft the Vapor Spectre. You should have got a blueprint for this just by casually playing. Unfortunately, you're going to have to wait for the Spectre to finish crafting before you can progress into Europa, but once we do have access to Europa, we can start making progress on the requirements for the Saturn Junction. The Europa Junction will have rewarded you with a quest called The New Strange. This quest, you get introduced to a character called Cephalon Samaris. To complete this quest, you're going to have to get a special kind of codex scanner from him called a synthesis scanner, along with a set of kinetic siphon traps. Make sure to equip both of these items into your gear wheel. A part of the New Strange quest requires you to synthesize 3 targets. You're going to load into the mission that the quest tells you to play, equip your synthesis scanner, aim down the sights of the scanner, and you're going to notice these faint floating blue balls. Follow these balls to get to the synthesis target. Once you're near him, he's going to be marked. Open your gear wheel, place down a kinetic siphon trap near him, then re-equip your synthesis scanner and scan the 4 blue parts highlighted on the target. Repeat this process another 2 times, then continue on with the quest until it's completed. The last 2 requirements for the Saturn Junction require us to complete the mission Baal on Europa and defeat the boss LV at Phemisto on Jupiter. Making your way through Europa to get to and complete Baal should be pretty easy as long as you're upgrading your mods such as your survivability mods and damage mods. Phemisto, on the other hand, may be a little bit more difficult. On screen, I'm going to show you builds for your Warframe, your primary weapon, secondary weapon, and melee weapon. If you mimic these builds or get as close to them as possible, defeating LV should be pretty easy. We've modded for magnetic damage on our secondary weapons, so we can bring that out to damage enemy shields if we need to, where the rest of our weapons are just modded for corrosive damage because that's just the best general damage element. It's super important that you have these mods ranked up a little bit. If you've just left them unranked, you're probably going to struggle. If you're playing as Excalibur, make sure that you've modded your Exalted Blade. You can use the exact same build from your melee weapon on your Exalted Blade and it should work just fine. If you're really struggling with missions on Jupiter, Europa, and even just the LV boss fight, I recommend waiting for Rhino the craft because he has an ability called Iron Skin, which makes you really hard to kill, and a damage buffing ability called Roar. We're going to need him for the next episode of the guide anyway. So at this point, you now have access to Saturn, but I don't recommend progressing too deep into Saturn just yet. If you're going to progress into Saturn at all, go to Helene. This is a defense mission that you can use for casual leveling. What you should do though is go back and complete any nodes that you skipped on any of your available planets. For example, there is at least 1 Archwing mission on each planet that you weren't able to do, but now that you've got an Archwing, it's worth completing. Remember that you can throw mods onto your Archwing and Archwing weapons by going to your arsenal and clicking on the Vehicles tab. Uranus, a planet that we're going to be visiting later on, is an Archwing intensive planet on some of the nodes, so it's worth investing a little bit of endo into your Archwing and Archwing weapon mods. Speaking of endo, you probably find yourself running low on it. Now that we've completed the Stolen Dreams quest, we have access to the weekly Iton treasure hunts. If you go to your navigation, click on the alerts tab, you're going to see an Iton treasure hunt listed. Click on this and it's going to put you into Maru's Bazaar. In Maru's Bazaar, find Maru, talk to her, and tell her that you're looking for Iton treasure. This is going to put you into a mission either in the Derelict or in the Void, where you're going to be directed to a vault with an obstacle course inside of it. Once you've completed the obstacle course, you'll be able to pick up an Iton treasure. These Iton treasures have empty slots on them for Iton stars that you may or may not have come across while playing. Until Master Rank 10, you have to slot the Iton stars into these statues one by one. Once you've filled up a statue with all the stars required, go back to Maru's Bazaar, which is located around Mars, talk to Maru and tell her that you're looking to extract endo from your Iton items. You can trade the statues with the stars fitted into them for a lot of endo. On screen now, I've got a screenshot of all the weapons that you can craft and use. The ones that I've got circled in red are weapons that I really recommend getting and crafting. The Bolter is good versus armored enemies, the Kark is good versus shielded enemies, and the Vectis is just a good high damage sniper. There are some weapons on this list that I've blacked out. This is because they're too expensive to craft for you right now as a newer player. Outside of the Kark, Bolter, and Vectis, which of these weapons you pick up is entirely up to you. They're all going to be pretty decent for your level. To craft these weapons, you need to get the blueprint for them from the market. So go to the market, type in the name of the weapon, click the weapon, then it should say blueprint, and it'll let you buy it. It'll tell you how much it costs in terms of credits, or it's going to tell you where to get the blueprint for it. Same can be done for Warframes. Remember how I told you guys to craft Rhino earlier on in this video? Well, to craft them, you need to get the blueprint for him from the market. So go to the market, type in Rhino, click on him, and then buy the blueprint. Another item that I want you guys to craft is called the Toxin. The Toxin is a little companion that will float with you and suck up resources. You got this as a reward from the Venus Junction, so you could have crafted it way back then, but I just forgot to mention it in the first episode. Theoretically, you could craft and level all of these weapons. The only thing that would really be holding you back is the amount of slots that you have. But remember, you're able to sell the weapons that you've leveled for level 0 to 30 at least once by pausing the game, going to equipment, then inventory, and then the weapons tab. There are some weapons that are worth holding on to though, as you're going to need them later on to craft other weapons. I've got them all listed on screen now. Like I said, you could get all of the Master Rank 1 to Master Rank 3 weapons right now and level all of them up, but I recommend just leveling enough weapons to get you to Master Rank 4, as we're going to need Master Rank 4 for the next episode. The only other thing that we can really talk about in this video is whether or not Valkyrie is worth farming from LNV. Valkyrie is a very strong melee frame and she's really tanky, so I would say it doesn't do any harm to pick up all of her part blueprints. Anyway guys, that's going to be it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button below. If you want to see more Warframe content from me, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.